Having one lease agreement satisfying every type of lease term possible would be great. However, every lease is different. So even though a universal lease is possible, it is important to note that there are going to be specifics you need to address while drafting your property's rental agreement. In today's video, we'll review 5 common mistakes landlords make with rental agreements and how to avoid them. So let's get started. Drafting a comprehensive lease agreement is crucial for landlords. However, it can be easy to overlook certain aspects, especially if you own several rental properties and tend to use one universal lease agreement. So here are 5 mistakes to avoid while creating lease agreements for your rental properties. Number 1, not properly identifying the tenants. Remember, a rental agreement is a legal document, and although it may seem obvious, you would be surprised how many landlords fail to address their tenants correctly in the lease. You must refer to your tenants by their full legal name in the beginning of the document, as well at the end of the document where the signature blocks are placed. If you fail to identify your tenants correctly on the lease, you may find it difficult to enforce your agreement should an issue or dispute arise. Number 2, not researching rental rates. One of the key elements in a lease agreement is the monthly rent. Failing to research the market rates properly and instead placing a random dollar amount in your lease is something you want to avoid. Unfortunately, this mistake may cause you to over or underprice your rental property. If you overprice your rental, your tenant pool will significantly shrink. Additionally, any tenants that you have currently residing in your property are not likely to renew if you continue to raise the rent sporadically. Meanwhile, underpricing is leaving valuable profits on the table. So in order to avoid this mistake, landlords should reevaluate the rental rate annually to ensure it is in line with local market trends. Interested in learning more about what's important to investors, property managers, and tenants? Well, hey there, it's Alyssa from Bay Property Management Group. Just a quick pause in the video as a reminder to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on the latest videos with new content uploaded weekly. We appreciate your support, and now back to the video. Number 3, not personalizing the agreement. Universal lease agreement forms don't come with every lease provision you can think of. That's why simply filling in the blanks is a bad idea. In fact, most, if not all, local property management companies will discourage you from doing this. Now is the time for you to be specific about the rules as they pertain to your rental property. So think about some of the specific clauses you might want to include in your rental agreement, such as whether or not your tenants can smoke in the property, what type of interior alterations, either temporary or permanent, tenants can make, if your tenants can have pets, which type, how many, what size, and if you will require a pet deposit or additional monthly rent, or which basic maintenance tasks your tenants will be responsible for. This critical lease personalization will ensure your tenants know exactly what is and isn't expected of them. It will also outline the consequences for not following your rules. However, as important as personalizing your lease agreement is, make sure you follow your state's rental property laws. For instance, make sure you don't overcharge on the security deposit and fees, and additionally, don't ask your tenants to do anything that may violate their tenant rights, such as forfeiting the notice of entry. Number 4, not addressing late rent. Earlier, we mentioned the importance of setting an appropriate rent rate, and it is equally important to mention what will happen should the rent not get paid on time. Late payment lease provisions are used to inform and motivate your tenants to pay their rent on time. After all, you rely on their timely payment and often cannot afford to wait for them to pay when it's convenient for them. Failing to outline the consequences for late or non-payment of rent is a huge mistake. Without this in your lease, it will be difficult to receive compensation in court for non-payment of rent should your tenant stop paying altogether. So be sure to include the rental rate, grace period, late fees, and eviction process for non-payment of rent in your lease agreement. And number 5, not setting a lease term. In your rental agreement, it's crucial to designate a lease start and end date. That way, your tenant knows exactly when they can move in and when they have to be out of your property should they choose not to renew their lease. In addition, there are some lease renewal options that some see as mistakes. Therefore, you should carefully consider the following when drafting a lease agreement. Allowing automatic lease renewals. How can you be sure you will want to rent to your tenants a year from now? Including a month-to-month renewal option. Both parties have the option to break a month-to-month lease within 30 days, leaving you with little time to find new tenants. And not requiring a 60 days notice of intent when it comes to renewals. Leaving it to the last minute might leave you with no time to fill a vacancy should your tenants decline your offer. Individually, none of these options are necessarily dire mistakes. However, they may cause you extra stress or financial pitfall that could be avoided with a well thought out and thorough lease agreement. Ultimately, having an airtight lease agreement that addresses all of your concerns is important for everyone involved. After all, the lease agreement is the document that both you and your tenants will refer to when there is an issue. So the more thorough it is, the less confusion you and your tenants are bound to encounter. For expert insights on a variety of rental industry topics, check back in for weekly video uploads, and don't forget to hit the notification bell for exclusive updates. Thanks for watching, commenting, and subscribing. We will see you in the next video.